What's up everyone, welcome back to Free to Be, and this week we're going to be talking about an article I recently read where it outlines 20 things that everybody should know when they're young about financial health, financial literacy. So let's get started. Okay, so before we get started, as always, if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. We talk about financial literacy on this channel, and if that's something that interests you, you're going to want to subscribe. And if you're joining us again, thanks for coming back. Alright, so I read an article a couple weeks back about a financial advisor who has 25 plus years of experience, and he basically outlines in this article 20 things that he would like to tell himself. If he could go back in time, he'd tell the 20-year-old version of himself these facts, these kind of lessons that he's learned over the course of his career. These are not my thoughts, these are what this advisor basically would want to go back and tell his 20-year-old self. So I thought that I'd make a series of videos where we can outline some of these, and basically I can give you my thoughts on them, and maybe we can engage in the comments down below. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is the first part of the series. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the upcoming parts of the series. And make sure you turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Okay, so I want to just go ahead and start off by saying that this is not a top 20 list, and there's no real order to any of these, but this is just 20 things that this person identified as being essential to, building financial health while you're young, when you're younger, and so that it can basically propel you and put you in a situation where as you get older, you're in better and better position. So the first thing outlined in this article is to take bigger risks. And what that means is when you're young, you don't have as many ties, you don't have as many responsibilities for the most part. You don't have kids, you probably don't have wives, you're free to kind of take more risk with your career, with the way you spend, the way you invest. So you should take more risks while you can. And while that isn't necessarily true for anyone, it's probably the best time for you to take a leap of faith if you're thinking about wanting to be your own boss, starting your own business. It may be harder to produce the capital to kind of get that going when you're younger, but when you don't have a lot of people relying on you, when you are a little bit more free to make the decisions on your own, it's definitely a better time to do that. So I do agree with this notion of when you're younger in your career, when you're basically just starting out, and if you really are thinking about going out on your own or making an investment that seems a little risky, do it while you're young, because you'll have more time to recover from any kind of, failure. So, if it doesn't necessarily go the way you think it's gonna go, you have more time to recover. You don't have as many obligations. You don't have as many responsibilities to think about. Take the risk. And so the next thing he talks about in the article is to invest in yourself more often. And so that doesn't necessarily mean a monetary investment, but just in terms of your knowledge base, right? Read more books, try to take more classes, get more certification, take on more responsibilities at your job to kind of just grow that breadth of knowledge that you have so that you become more valuable going into, the middle and later parts of your career. You definitely want to invest in yourself, grow your knowledge, and that doesn't always necessarily mean you have to do more school. Pick up a book from time to time, read an article, do some research independently on your own time, on the internet, wherever you got to do it. Just kind of invest in yourself, invest in your knowledge, invest in yourself more. And I think I agree with this one as well, because it is important, guys. If you don't actually take the time to work on yourself, whether it is creatively or just in terms of what you're doing now in that moment to kind of increase your knowledge base, it's just not going to be worth it to someone else who might want to pay you for that going down the line. So take the time while you're younger, invest in yourself, kind of just get a little bit more involved in the things you're doing. If there's something that interests you, learn about it. It will pay off in the future. And if it involves going back to school, maybe it's something that you should consider while you're younger. I mean, look, if you are always thinking about maybe going and becoming a lawyer, does it make more sense to become a lawyer when you're 22 or wait till you're in a financially more comfortable position and you're 72? I think obviously, you don't want to go into massive amounts of debt, but I think when you're younger, it makes more sense to take those plunges. It goes back to taking the risks, investing in yourself. If it involves going back to school, do it while you're young. It just makes sense. Now, the next thing that you should be looking to do while you're younger is to become money smart. So becoming money smart involves just understanding finances in general. And now I understand this is the most overwhelming part of becoming an adult, of graduating and going into into the real world, finances and just financial well-being are something that it does overwhelm a lot of people. You know, financial paralysis is real. I come into contact with people on a regular basis who don't understand taxes, who don't understand investing, who don't understand the benefits of purchasing a home versus renting a home. You got to become money smart. Kind of just understand that world. Money is going to be a part of our lives. Whether you're financially independent or living paycheck to paycheck, it's going to be impossible for you not to think about money. So it just makes sense for you to learn about it. And I am completely on board with this one. The more you know, the more dangerous you can be with the tools you have in front of you. So understand tax implications for various things. Understand how to invest and identifying good investments versus bad ones. Make sure you're doing the most you can do to become financially smart and just be money smart in general, building budgets for yourself and understanding how much money you're spending versus how much money you're making. Becoming money smart is key. It's just extremely valuable. And I know I said there's no ranking to these, but if I was to rank these so far, this would be the top one. This would be number one. Make sure you are money smart. Now, the next thing the financial advisor outlines in his article is for people to move to opportunity versus letting opportunity come to them. And so what he means by this is, don't just wait around to get promoted or an opportunity to present itself to you. While you're young, you have basically the world at your disposal. If you want to move to a place where you might have a better opportunity, whether it's a better job market or just somewhere where that particular field thrives, do it while you're young. So for example, if you're growing up in a smaller town that's not near any big metropolitan cities, and you want to be a financial advisor, it makes more sense to go somewhere where that job market is thriving, where it's a bigger pool of opportunities for you when you're young. So if you need to make a big move to New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Washington DC, whatever it may be, make those moves while you're young. You move to the opportunity and let it kind of play out on its own. Doesn't mean you have to wait for a job to come up. You can do that while you're young. You can take this risk and move to an opportunity to put yourself in a better position going forward and in the long term. And now I kind of agree with this, but I don't necessarily agree 100%. I don't think that if you have a job, you should just quit it at any given time to just move to some unknown city that you are really not familiar with at all and haven't sourced any kind of job prospects. I don't think that's a wise move to make. Yes, I agree that if you're on the hunt and you're looking for a job, that if you just graduated, for example, don't have a job yet and you're looking, it might make sense to just make that plunge and move to a major city that will probably present you with better opportunities. But I wouldn't just necessarily abandon a job to move to an unknown place and hopes of, getting a better opportunity. I don't think that necessarily always works out. Now it could, and anecdotally I'm sure it has. But I think the better solution here is if you are looking to make a move to a different city, to a bigger city, maybe prospect some jobs first before making the plunge out there. But again, if this is someone who's just graduating from school, I would recommend, hey, look, narrow down the kind of field that you want to work in, figure out where that field is thriving, where you can have the most opportunity within that field, and move there, get the career started that way. And the next piece of advice is to be thoughtful with the decisions you make. Be more active and thoughtful in the decisions you make in your life, because ultimately you are in control of you. You're in control of your happiness. You're in control of your position. You can't just sit there passively and wait for things to happen, because then you'll be basically a tool for someone else to use in their life. So if they're going to leapfrog you or use you to propel themselves forward, you don't want to be in that position. You are in control of your life. You're in control of every opportunity that you want. So get out there and be active and be thoughtful about the way you're approaching things. Now, I really agree with this one because, look, too often we kind of, criticize or just, blame external factors that aren't in our control for opportunity that we missed out on and things like that. And that's just not a good approach. You have to be thoughtful. You have to kind of think your career through. Think your plan out a little bit more and just be active about it. Go after your dreams, go after your goals, and make it happen for yourself. All right, so those were 5 of the 20 items or so that this guy wanted to tell the younger version of himself. That's what we're going to be talking about going forward in the next few videos. So if you enjoyed this, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications, because we'll be going over the other 15 in upcoming videos. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.